Hello everyone, and welcome back to another amazing Bright Exchange Zoom session. I know you guys are probably wondering who I am because a lot of you probably haven't seen me before, but my name's Alicia and I recently joined the Bright Exchange team. So a bit about myself, I'm 21. I recently graduated from biomedical science and I'm actually trying to pursue a career in medicine. So yeah, that's a bit about myself. But yeah, this week I'm really excited for another amazing session. So last week we had Amira Fuller who spoke about character and how your values really shape your character. And I know a lot of us were really encouraged and blessed by what she said. But this week we have another amazing speaker. I would really encourage everyone to interact and to take notes as well, because I know a lot of us are going to be blessed and moved as well by this session. So, introducing Toyin Coker.
Hi everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Toyin. Just before I start, I just want to say a big thank you to Bright Exchange for having me today and having me speak on resilience. And so just before I start, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an introduction as to who I am and what I do. So my name is Toyin Coker and I am 28 years of age and I currently work for the local government. And today I will be speaking to you all on resilience, and I hope I can really inspire you guys and just teach you a thing or two about resilience. So just before I actually go into my discussion, does anybody actually know what resilience is? Or I'm sure we've probably heard the term used, or maybe you've heard your mum say it, your relatives say it. So can anybody just give me a brief understanding of their term of resilience, please? If you're not too shy.
Hi.
Hi.
Other than resilience means like even when there's challenges in life or just little obstacles in your way, you just find a way to get over them.
Yes.
Or like at least learn from them.
Perfect. That's honestly like a really, really good answer. There's actually no right or wrong answer, but that's such a great answer. I'm just going to read the internet definition of what resilience is, and then I just go into a little bit more detail. So resilience is a set of skills, attitudes, behaviors, and coping mechanisms that allow individuals to bounce back and adapt when faced with stress, challenges, or adversity. Resilient people tend to be able to harness inner strengths and recover more quickly from a setback or a challenge. So just like what you've explained, it's really just being able to go through a situation or going through a situation, being able to bounce back. A lot of professionals or a lot of definitions tend to use the word bounce back. But for me, I personally like to use the word moving forward, because you can bounce back from the situation, but the importance is in being able to move forward from that situation. And so, and so I think it's very, very important to just to have a level of resilience when navigating life, because one thing that we all know is that adversity is going to happen, life is going to happen. And I personally like to kind of say to people that in order for you to understand resilience, you definitely need to understand the concept of life. And when I talk about the concept of life, I mean really adversity. Life will come at you fast, as we all know. It doesn't have to be anything major. It could be something as small as like maybe applying for a job and not getting that job. So adversity will come. It doesn't discriminate against anybody. It doesn't matter if you are a good person, a bad person, if you're black, you're white, it really doesn't matter. As long as you are alive, you will face tough times. And it may come in like even things like natural disasters. That's, that has a huge impact on people's lives. So something as small as big as that, something as small as maybe just, I don't want to say losing your dog or losing a pet is small, but it's just the different levels of adversity. And so it's so important to it's so important to be resilient. Resilience is important for success. Having a high level of resilience will allow you to cope with stress. It gives you the strength to cope with stress. It allows you to face hardship, and be able to actually get through these tough times. It's also good for character building. It allows you to be emotionally aware of your surroundings. So when you are going through a situation, you need to be able to process your emotional reaction to these things, and being able to understand what it is that you're feeling, you know, being able to set yourself goals and move on and move forward from these things that you're going through. And so I think the importance of resilience is so needed. It's you need to understand that you need to have a level of resilience. It's important to teach yourself, and it's not necessarily something that you're born with as well. It's something that you can actually develop over time. And by the time you face one challenge and you face the next challenge, you're more or less good to go. And so I think with that being said, it's not right for me to sit here without explaining to you what I've been through, or kind of sharing my story, and just kind of like give you all an insight as to what has made me a little bit more resilient, and how I've become or understood resilience in my own way. And so I think what I'll start with my first story. I haven't actually expressed this to a group of people before. And so this will be like my first time actually sharing my story, I would say. And so it was uni. I went to uni in Stoke-on-Trent. So I went away from London, and then I met this guy called Victor. And this was like my first ever boyfriend. I'd never been in a relationship before. I'd never really I'd spoken to guys, but this was my first boyfriend. And yeah. And so I was with him first year of uni, second year of uni, third year of uni. And the relationship was really good. I mean, we definitely grew together. We learned so much, and it was a really good relationship. I wouldn't say it was perfect, but it was my first relationship. I was really, really happy with everything. And I was, you know, just in a really, really good space. And so towards the close of university, so just before the end of the final year, we started having discussions in terms of what we wanted for our future, in terms of, okay, we're going to get married. And I don't know if it was just the fact that we were so happy, but we were definitely focused individuals as well. And so I guess it was just part of us growing up, and we were just really secure in our relationship with one another. I knew this was the person that I wanted to be with. And so we were like, okay, this is getting serious. We need to start meeting like families and things like that. And so I remember like I met his family, he met my family, his brother and my siblings. We all literally got on. We were literally one big family. And so everybody got on like a house on fire. And July 2014, it's the day of our graduation, and we're graduating together. And it's just kind of like your typical university story where you meet someone at uni, you probably marry that person, and you graduate together. His family's there, my family's there, we're taking photos, and it's just a really good space. Everybody's in a really, really, really good space. Everybody's happy. And yeah, and so fast forward literally 3 weeks later, and Victor actually spends the week at my house. So he's at my house from Monday to Saturday, and we're just chilling and just, you know, just spending time with one another. And Saturday morning, I go to work and he goes back to Kent, where he lives with his parents. And so Sunday morning, I speak to him Saturday night at like 2 o'clock in the morning. We have a conversation at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he tells me that he's going to the gym in the morning. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, I'll see you tomorrow morning. And so 6 o'clock on the Sunday morning, I get a phone call from his mum. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, 6 o'clock in the morning, what does this lady want? And so I pick up the phone, and his brother picks up the phone. His brother answers the phone, and he's ever so calm, literally not a shake in his voice. And he says to me, Toyin, Victor's sick. And in my mind, this boy is so dramatic. He's sick. Okay, cool. And then he's like, I went into his room this morning and I found him slumped. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, slumped basically means like you're really tired, you're exhausted. So I'm trying to put, you know, sick and slumped together. And then he goes on to say, now they're trying to resuscitate him. And so I'm thinking, hold on, he's sick, he's tired, and he's trying to be resuscitated. Like, nothing makes sense. And so I, you know, pass the phone to my sister. I'm panicking, and I'm just trying to understand what's going on. To be completely honest with you, I think deep down, I knew what his brother was telling me. I knew what he was saying to me, but grief will do that to you. And I think I was just trying not to accept what I knew was happening. And so we go to his house now. I go to his mum's house, and you know, his house is packed with people. You've got aunties, pastors, everybody's there, his friends are there. And so I go into the living room and his mum's on the phone, she's crying and she's, you know, hysterical, inconsolable, and she's just in tears. And so I try and like speak with her, but I'm not really able to like say anything to her. And so I sit on the sofa and I'm sitting next to like an auntie or a church auntie. And she's like, oh, don't worry, you know, like Victor's coming back. They've gone to get him. He's fine. He's fine. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, cool. He's fine. Like everything's going to be okay. And then I look at his mum thinking, but if he's fine and he's coming back, why is she crying? And then his brother literally calls me upstairs and he's like, Toyin, Victor's dead and he's not coming back. Don't go downstairs and start listening to this person and that person. Victor's been pronounced dead. And literally at this point is where I could honestly say like my life completely changed. I'd always been like a positive person, and I'd always be the friend to like, if any of my friends were going through anything, I'd be, okay guys, like we can get through this, it's fine, this is what you need to do. You need to stay positive and you need to think positively. And now being told this news, I was the least positive. Like I had no substance to me. I couldn't even encourage myself. I just didn't understand what was going on. And for 2 to 3 years, I was just in a complete state of shock. I literally didn't work for probably 3-4 months. I would cry every single day. I remember I was sitting on the train once, and when I did go back to work, I was on the Victoria line. And I remember looking at the word Victoria and I started thinking, oh gosh, Victor's name, Victor, Victoria. And I started crying on the train. I became extremely paranoid to the point where my sister would go out and I would sit up all night, literally all night. I wouldn't sleep a wink and I'd call her every single hour. I'd call her and just check that she was okay because I had this fear that she was going to die. I had this fear that something was going to happen to her. And so even it got really, really, really bad. I wasn't eating. I wasn't really taking care of like myself. I wasn't exercising. I lost so much weight. It was just a really, really, really bad place. And I remember I couldn't even sleep in my room for 1 year. And so I'd always sleep with my sister. And when I was sleeping with her, I'd wake her up every like, I don't know, just silly times in the morning. I'd wake her up, check that she was breathing, or I'd panic. I'd wake up randomly and just look at her and be like, is she breathing? Is she going to die in her sleep? And things like that. And so it just got really, really bad. And like my friends probably thought I was losing the plot. I wouldn't accept for about 2 years that Victor was dead. I remember telling all my friends as well at the time this was happening. I remember telling everybody, do not put RIP. Nobody post RIP. Don't write anything on your Facebook page. I remember my mum posted something, posted a message to Victor on her Facebook page, and I logged into her account and I deleted it because I just didn't want to accept that this boy was no longer here. And then things got so bad and I was losing a lot of weight. I just wasn't myself. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't going out. I wasn't picking up my phone. I was just in a really, really dark place. And I remember thinking to myself, this is getting out of hand. Like I actually started to irritate myself. And I remember saying, this is getting out of hand. I actually need to find a way to do something about it. I need to start moving forward. I can't sit here 3 years later and not be able to conversate with anybody and not be able to like just live a normal life. And so I started doing research on grief and learning about grief and learning on different ways to overcome grief. So I started journaling and trying to connect with other people and storytell with other people to see how they handled their grief and how I can handle my grief. And I found that journaling was one thing that really helped me because first of all, I'm a Christian. And so I found that being able to speak to God at that point, I didn't know whether he was listening to me or not, but it was an outlet and it seemed to really help a lot. And so I decided to journal. I started spending money on books and self-help books so I could better myself and better my state of mind. And then, just even taking care of myself, taking care of my body and being able to establish some goals that I wanted to set, because deep down I knew that Victor would not have me in that whole predicament. He'd be like, Toyin, you need to get up, deal with it and move forward. Like you can't dwell, stop victimizing yourself, stop wallowing in self-pity. This is life. And I can honestly say this was really the first experience that I'd faced, or the first challenge that I'd faced, that really taught me about resilience. It taught me that, you know what, life will happen, death will come. As much as, it's hard to accept and it's kind of harsh I don't want to be so blunt about it, but you will lose someone. Everybody that's alive. You will lose someone, you will grieve, you will experience grief in one way or the other. And it's just about being able to just handle it, accept it, and understand that, you know what, this is going to happen, you know. So it's about maintaining a positive outlook on this. And so after like researching so many methods of being able to overcome grief and just trying to develop a level of resilience, I finally got to the point where I understood, you know what, okay, this has happened and there's nothing that I can do about it. Victor's dead. I can't bring him back, but what I can do is make myself better, you know. And so the next time life throws something at me, I know how to handle it and I'm prepared for it. And so I can say that this definitely shaped the person that I am today, and it definitely changed like my outlook on life. And so that happened in 2014. So we fast forward again to 2018, and it's Christmas Day, and I'm with my friends. This was our year of like hosting Christmas, and I'm with my friends, and um, you know, we're hosting Christmas and everybody's having fun. And I remember a lot of my cousins and my like uncles calling me, and they never call me on Christmas. They'll never like video call me. So I did kind of think something was weird, but I just thought, you know what, I'm having fun. It's Christmas, drinking, eating, whatever. And so the next day, my mum calls me and she's like, Toyin, like, you know, I've got something to tell you. Your dad's not well. And I'm like, okay, you know, is he dead? Because I know a lot of people, when it comes to death, they never want to be upfront about it. They want to kind of make it sound nice. And so he goes, and then, you know, my mom's like, tell your dad, yeah, he's dead. And so because I'd already dealt with Victor's situation, I already knew about death. I had already navigated myself and taught myself how to get through these kind of things. So I was like, you know what, fine, this hurts. You know, daddy's no longer here, but this is life. My biggest challenge now was being able to encourage my siblings, allowing them to grieve, but also trying to teach them, okay, this is the point now. You need to learn about resilience. This is the point you need to kind of just get thick skin and just get on with it. And so I think just introducing to them the strategies that I use and the things that really helped me in terms of like dealing with death, and so things like speaking to someone. And now, I mean, looking back at Victor, I didn't have anybody to speak to because I didn't know anybody else that had gone through that, especially at my age. And so now that my dad had died, and you know, I had a sister, I had a brother, we were all able to really sit down and actually talk about this together, which was a very, very, very good outlet, because we're able to, you know, understand our emotions and understand what we were feeling, understand what they were feeling, and you know how this was making them feel, and just coming up with ways to actually help them overcome this situation. And so I think yes, I remember like the first thing I thought was, okay, this is another situation, we have to get through this together. And then things such as journaling. I know my sister started journaling and just doing a lot of reading, and just, I would think, just shifting your energy from a negative mind space to a positive mind space. And just, you know, fair enough, like, you know, this person had now died, but what did you gain from knowing that person? At least we could say that we knew our dad and we'd seen him the year before and we'd spoken to him and we had a relationship with him. There's so many other people that don't have a relationship with their fathers and don't even know their fathers, and unfortunately don't have fathers, you know. So I think when you are going through something bad in life, it's always a good thing to really take the good of that situation. Yes, it may be 85% bad, but the 15%, I'm sure there's something good that you can find from that situation. And so yeah, the biggest challenge for me at that point, because I developed my resilience and I knew what I had to do to get through the situation, it was just encouraging my siblings and just getting them to understand the many ways that, you know, they could actually get through this situation. And so through that whole deal, I think we were able to really navigate through that situation in a very, very, very strong way. And so yeah, so that was another situation that I had to deal with. And then we go to 2020, everybody's favorite year, the year of everything, the year of Corona, and the year of cancer. And so as you all can see, I have no hair. You see, yeah. And so that was because I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020, of course, and in May. And so at this point, because I'd been through, you know, I'd been through losing Victor, I'd been through losing my dad, I kind of understood, you know what, I am not exempt from anything else in this life. Like, it could be even, I really wasn't phased. Like, I was really ready for anything. I'm literally ready for anything. And so when I got diagnosed, the first thing I thought was, okay, this is just another hurdle. Like, you're not gonna die. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You just need to really maintain a positive outcome. And I remember, like, when I told my sister and my brother, of course they were in tears and they were absolutely devastated. But because they were somewhat resilient at this point as well, and they really focused their energy on just helping me and supporting me. And I just remember saying to myself, I am not the first person to have cancer, and I'm not going to be the last person to have cancer. There are the children that have leukemia. There's other people going through far more far a lot more worse, and they're in a really bad predicament. I have to be grateful for the fact that I have cancer, but I'm still alive. There's so many other things, positive things that are happening in my life, and cancer will not be the end of me. And sometimes I feel like in situations it's so easy for you to question God, and it's so easy to feel victimized, and why me? Why does this always happen to me? And I haven't done anything to anybody. Why is it always me? Why do I always get bad luck? But really and truly, why not you? There's trouble happens to everybody. Everybody goes through some sort of adversity in life, and it's just being able to change your mentality and just understanding and looking at the positive side of things. I could have easily been like, okay, I've got cancer, that's it, I'm gonna die. But no, I chose, okay, I've got cancer, what can I do? Do I want to react to this situation, or do I want to respond to this situation? And after everything that I've been through, I would say I really understand the importance of having a positive mindset, and I really understand the importance of the power of mind over matter. Because I promise you, once I found out I had cancer, I started speaking to people that had cancer before, and I remember a lot of people had told me, like, once you start chemotherapy, you're going to be bedridden for days. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that. And I promise you guys, I have done Eat Out to help out. I have done everything. I literally have fun. I don't even feel like there's anything wrong with me. I don't feel sick. The only time I feel like there's something wrong with me, like I've got cancer, is when probably I've been to chemo and I'm extremely fatigued, or I've got like achy pains and so forth. But it's so important to understand that no matter what happens to you, there is hope. You can get through it. It might seem like the worst thing ever. It might seem like, oh my gosh, I've been told that I've got 6 months left to live. But what about, it's about reacting, it's about responding to the situation and just establishing goals. What do you want to achieve? Teaching yourself and really just encouraging yourself, because if you can't motivate yourself and encourage yourself, no one else is liable to do that for you. It's literally up to you. The decision is for you to make. Either sink or you either swim. And I mean, I want to swim, so it's completely up to you. So I think it's so important to just understand that resilience is not about ignoring your feelings as well. So I'm not saying push your feelings to the side, but really understand what you're going through. Don't be totally self-reliant. It's okay to ask for support. If you don't know something, go out on the internet. It's accessible to everybody. Research. Look, there's so many other people that are going through what you're probably going through. Speak to them. Find out how they move on. Find out what they do to make themselves feel better. And one thing to just point out there as well, it's not just really about bouncing back, as I said at the beginning of this. It's about moving forward. The aim in life is to always move forward, always do better, so that you can always teach people and just encourage people. Because once you go through one thing and you've managed to navigate through that thing, you've taught yourself, you've moved forward from that, you're positive. The next time you go through another situation, you're ready, you're mentally ready, you're mentally strong, you're mentally prepared. And so I think the aim of being resilient is to raise your own self-awareness and understand the type of things that are likely to affect you negatively, and just being alert to these things as well. Just being alert, very, very alert. And I think it's obviously not a one size fits all. We all respond to things very, very, very differently. The same way for example, look at Victor. It took me 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years to really get myself out of that situation. So it doesn't mean because you go through something now, you're supposed to bounce back or move forward immediately. It takes time and it takes work. You're not really, not everybody's born with resilience, I would say. It's something that has to be developed It's something that has to be developed, and you have to be focused, and you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to actually get yourself out of that situation. So I think my main my main message to all of you is just let you know that no matter what life throws at you, it could be, studying for an exam and not even getting the grades that you want, or applying for university and not being accepted to university that you want. No matter what life throws at you, there is always hope. There is always a plan B. There is always a way to move forward, and you can most definitely rise up from adversity. And there are many, many strategies that work. There's strategies that help me get through death. There are many strategies that have helped me get through heartbreak and get through just little failures in life, or things that I haven't been able to achieve. And I'm just going to give you all 3 strategies that have helped me build resilience. And I would say the first strategy I would say is to be optimistic. Be optimistic. Always try your best to be positive. Even when it seems like, okay, I can't take this any longer, just remember there's someone else that's going through something a little bit worse. I remember my dad would always say to me, you complain about not having these shoes and not having kickers and not having, I remember when I was young, I used to want kickers so bad. And he's like, you complain about all these things, you don't have shoes, and there's someone that doesn't even have feet. So be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for the situation that you're in. So yeah, always be optimistic. Just remember that life happens. Life is going to happen whether you like it or not. Suffering is a part of life. It's a very part of like our human existence. And being aware of this allows you to not victimize yourself. You're not put in a position where you actually feel like you're being discriminated against, because life doesn't discriminate against anybody. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. Terrible things will happen, but the choice is up to you. Do you want to sink or do you want to swim? Another strategy I would like to give or share with you is just being able to focus on the things that you can change and accepting the things that you can't change. I find that resilient people, they tend to focus their energy on positive things. So I'm not saying dismiss the fact or dismiss the severity of what you're going through, but just accept what you're going through, and just, it's up to you. Just move forward from that. Just try and teach yourself, read books about that situation, read books of ways that you can be helped, just choose very, very carefully where you place your energy. Choose very, very carefully where you place your energy. I'm sure you have heard, the power of your mind or the power of your thoughts. Your thoughts are literally so powerful. So you don't diminish yourself. Don't diminish the negative, but tune into the good. So where there's good, there's bad. And I think the final strategy I would like to share is asking yourself the question of, what I'm doing, whatever I'm going through in this point in time, is it what am I doing to help me? What am I doing to help myself? Am I helping myself, or am I harming myself? Are you wallowing in self-pity? Are you constantly sitting at home and just thinking, okay, another day, what am I going to do? I don't want to wake up. I don't want to do this. Get on with it. As harsh as it might sound, just get on with it. Don't harm yourself, because you're just delaying your healing process. Nothing's going to get better if you continue to just sit down and cry. Crying, you're just wasting the water in your body, to be completely honest with you. Just get on with it. So be optimistic, focus on the things that you can change, the things that you can't change, accept it, and just find a way to teach yourself. And the final thing, are you helping yourself or are you harming yourself? And so that is it. I hope I have been able to somewhat inform you guys about resilience, teach you a thing or two, and inspire you.
Wow, definitely. Thank you so much. I think honestly that was an inspiration to a lot of people, and I feel like, especially you touched on 2020, this year has been so hard for a lot of people. Like even now we're in a second lockdown, and it's like, wow, you can kind of think, where do I go from here? Like a lot of people have gone through things, death, people have lost their jobs, people, education. I know a lot of us here are in school, a lot of people have missed time out because of certain things. So I think the message is really powerful, and we thank you so much for being able to share your story with us. I know it wasn't easy, and you mentioned that this is the first time that you've spoken out loud, so thank you so much, honestly. So this session will be on YouTube on Sunday. So if you guys want to listen to it again, it will be there on Sunday. So we're just going to open up the floor for questions. I know a lot of us probably have a lot of questions. Maybe you've gone through something. Maybe you want to ask Toyin, you know, how to get through a situation. So she'll be able to answer that. So I'm just going to start off with a question that I wanted to ask you. So to anyone that's struggling right now, how would you, or what would you say, or what would you encourage them, you know, the first thing to do to get out of it? You know, because a lot of us can be down and it can be like, okay, what do I do first? You know, so it's kind of easy to stay where you are. So what would you say is the first thing, you know, to do to be able to
I think the first thing I'd say is gratitude. Gratitude is so important, because when you're going through something, it's so easy to look at the negative and, you know, just look at your situation and be like, oh my gosh, I've lost my job and I don't have money. But what are the things that you're grateful for? Okay, you might not have a job, but you've got food in your house, right? You've got family, and you're alive, you're breathing. I was literally saying to my friend the other day, we take a lot of things for granted, and just things like having 10 fingers and 10 toes and just being alive, breathing. Like, we really take things for granted. A lot of people leave their house in the morning and they don't come back. You know, a lot of people go to bed at night and they don't wake up. So I know it's hard when you're going through something to just completely put all your energy in that basket, but just literally write down 5 things that you're grateful for. And the power of the mind, the way the mind works and the way the universe works and the way God works, just being grateful for one thing can open so many doors, you know? So I think it's just the first thing I'll say is definitely just be grateful. Write down 5 things, 10 things that you're grateful for, and really a lot can change from that.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Thank you for that. So Phoebe in the chat has asked, what's been the best / most important lesson you've learned so far in life?
Okay, so I think let me start with the most important. I think the most important lesson is to be kind. Because, and even in terms of like friendships, in terms of relatives and family members, you have to be kind, because I'm going to relate this to death, only because obviously that's like the major thing that I've been through. But you never know what your last word to someone is. Imagine like you're speaking to somebody today and like you have an argument with them, and the last thing you say to them is, oh, you know, I don't like you, I don't want to be your friends anymore, I'm done with you. And God forbid something happens to that person, the guilt that you feel will be unmatched, you know? So I think the most important lesson in terms of that is just be kind. It doesn't cost you 1 penny to be kind, you know? And I think the best lesson that I've learned is that change happens every single time. You know, things are always changing, life is always happening. And so you really just have to take the good, and really don't take things too seriously. Just really live your life, enjoy your life. I know it's like you know, you get to uni and then you start working and you have all these responsibilities, but trust me, enjoy your life. It's not worth it. All this stress, it's really not worth it. Peace of mind is the most important thing that you can have in this world. It's the most important thing, peace of mind. Because when you have peace of mind, you just don't worry about things as much. You know, you just need to be content. So I'd say, yeah, have fun, live life, and the best lesson is just enjoy your life. Life isn't that serious. I promise you, it's not that serious.
Definitely, we have to live our best life. And I think you touched on a really important point, that life is actually really short, and it's important to be kind to people, because you actually never know when the last time you might see someone is, you know. And we have to take every opportunity, you know, we can to live life and to do what we have to do. So thank you.
Yeah, I think the question is, what do you do to remain positive?
So what I do to remain positive, to gratitude. It's always important to just look around you and just look at the things that you have and just thank God. And just, yeah, I think I'm a lovely person anyway. I'm not the most serious person, guys. So I'm always laughing. I'm always just finding things to make me laugh. I do a lot of reading well. And so I think just being grateful for the little things that I have in life, you know. And yeah, I would say that's just gratitude bring out a lot of positive, I promise you, because you look at the things that you have and you're just grateful, and you cannot be mad. You just can't be mad. You can't complain at the things that you have, you know. So I think just being in a constant state of gratitude, definitely.
Brilliant.
Hopefully you guys can hear me. Is it good? Is it okay?
I can hear you.
All right. Sorry about that. All right. So the next question is, did what you went through bring you closer to God?
110%. 110%. I think so. With the whole Victor ordeal, he always used to go to church, and I believed in God, and I would pray. I would definitely pray. I'd do like a little 2-minute prayer before bed, and just, you know, thank you God for today, and I'm so tired, God, but you know what's in my heart, and I'd like go to sleep. I think after the whole Victor ordeal, it really just put things in perspective. Like, listen, there has to be someone up there that has to help me. I was in a state of desperation, so it was like, I need help, and I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know if you're listening to me. I don't know if you're real, but I promise you, even till like my cancer situation now, guys, there's so many breakthroughs that I've had, and it's only God. It's only God. I've had so many revelations, so many things that have happened, and it's only God. Only God. So 110% it brought me closer to God. 110%. Like, you cannot tell me that God is not real, because I've seen it too many times on so many occasions. So 110%, it's definitely brought me closer to God.
Amazing. That's amazing. Thank God.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
In terms of, you mentioned about like you. By the way, thank you so much, and that was very, very touching and inspirational. And you know, I know it's very difficult to obviously say, but really compelling talk there. I just want to ask. You talked about the journals. You know, how important is it for maybe people to document their journey?
Oh my gosh, guys, it's the best thing you can do, only because you can go back and you can see your growth. You know, like at the time I was going through the whole Victor ordeal, I remember, like, when I go back to my journal now, the way that I've grown, I went from pleading with God to begging God, please, me, okay, me, God, just take me, to the point where I was like, okay, like, I accept this. And I was then grateful, and God, thank you for allowing me to even experience a relationship like that. Thank you for allowing me to just experience and endure this. So I think journaling is so important, because you see your growth and you learn from the past experience, you learn from what you've gone through. So journaling, I would say, is up. And if you're not comfortable with like speaking to people as well, and you don't really want to go to therapy, because I know there's a whole stigma with, you know, when it comes to therapy, which I would say is really, really good and really, really advisable as well. But I think if you're not confident enough to speak to somebody, or get professional help, journaling is the way that can definitely help, because you're writing to yourself, or you're writing to God, and you'd be surprised, you know, by the answers that you get just by writing. You answer your own questions sometimes through journaling. And so it's definitely important. Definitely important. 100% recommend it. 110%.
Yeah, definitely. I think looking back, like you said, looking back at where you've come from and where you are now, you're probably like, wow, your growth. You can see the growth, and you're like, wow, I've done that. Yeah. So I think that's a really good point. So thank you for that. So the next question is, were those around you helpful during the hardships?
110%. I honestly have the bestest friends. I have the bestest family members, cousins. I remember when I went through the Victor situation, I had my friends and my cousins with me 24/7. It was sickening. I'm telling you, it was annoying. I was like, guys, seriously, I'm not handicapped, you know? But they were with me 24/7. Even now, I mean, I have to tell my friends, like, guys, like, seriously, I'm fine. Like, it's okay. On Instagram, I have people sending me gifts as well, even people that I don't know, people sending me gifts, and yeah, they're really, 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 really helpful. This is my time. Like, I'm being spoiled. I'm being spoiled, so I'm taking advantage of it as well. Even though I know I'm fine, I'm taking advantage of it. So yeah, extremely helpful. I remember I had people cooking for me. My friends would come round and like they'd cook, they'd clean, and I have OCD, guys. So for me to not clean and for them to be able to clean, so yeah, it was really, yeah, they've been really, really, really helpful through every single situation that I've been through. Every single situation I've had like the same group of people, and if not more, help me. So yeah, 110%. Love them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think Rachel had her hand up. I'm not sure if she wants to ask a question.
Yeah. I wanted to ask a question. First of all, thank you for sharing your story. I found it very touching, and I admire your courage for, speaking about something that might not always be easy to speak about, so thank you for that. My question is, you mentioned something about moving forward. And from my past experiences, I've heard that with moving forward, it also means to let go as well. And sometimes that can be really hard to do. So like, what would you advise, or what would you say would help with that feeling of like letting go?
When it comes to letting go, you really have to be able to make that decision for yourself, because to be completely honest with you, let me be 100. Victor, I haven't had a boyfriend since Victor, so I'm still in the process of trying to let go, and that's me being 110%. As much as I can say that I've moved forward, I feel like when it comes to letting go, that's the hardest part, because you kind of feel like if I let go and if I completely, say, okay, Victor, I'm done, or whatever you have to let go of, you kind of feel like you're erasing that, but you're not. Do you understand what I mean? So I would say it's a battle within yourself. Do you understand? It's a battle within yourself, and it's just really trying to convince yourself that okay, like it's enough now. I need to just kind of not necessarily leave you and erase your existence and your memories, but I need to kind of just accept and just move a little bit forward and get on with it now. So I think it's a battle that I would say, it's a battle that I'm still struggling with, to be completely honest with you. So yeah, I hope that has somewhat answered that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I think this is going to be the last one, unless anyone else has a question. So Norman said that with what you've gone through, would you consider writing a book to inspire others, because your story is remarkable?
Would I consider writing a book? You know what? A lot of people have said that to me, but I might consider it. I'll just say yes. I might consider it. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is the last question now. So this is from Aaron, and it says, were there any times where people had any negative views or comments about the situation? And if so, how did you deal with them?
Oh gosh, yes. So I actually did a video on my YouTube page about what not to say to someone that has cancer. And I actually had a friend, my friend's mum basically told me to not go through chemotherapy because it was going to kill me. She's like, don't go through chemo because you're going to die. That's when they pump you up with drugs, and that it's the drug that actually kills you. And I remember saying like, okay, I've already started. So what do you want me to do? So, but when it comes to comments like that, or people asking me, I remember one of my cousins actually said to me, oh, so, are you going to die? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, I hope so. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, we'll see. But I think when it comes to negative comments like that, people, they don't really know what to say. When it comes to cancer, you don't really know what to say to people. So you can't be mad, because remember, sometimes when you're going through something, the other person may not have experienced what you're going through. So they don't know how to really connect or relate. So when they do have negative things to say, just take it with a pinch of salt, because 110% they don't mean to be malicious. They're not trying to upset you. They just probably don't understand. So I think it's just having that understanding or that mentality that it's not coming from a bad place. They probably just don't understand. So don't be upset and just take it with a pinch of salt. That's all.